A woman in Zurich walks out of a salary review. Her income just increased by 12,000 francs a year. She drives home in the same car she bought 11 years ago. She makes no calls. She books no dinners. She transfers the difference, automatically, before she has time to want anything. This is not unusual in Switzerland. In 2019, researchers at the University of St. Gallen tracked 4,200 Swiss households across a decade of income growth. Their incomes rose by an average of 34%. Their lifestyle costs rose by less than 6%. The researchers called it an anomaly. Swiss economists called it Tuesday. Something is happening inside Swiss culture that nobody else has studied. And once you understand it, you will never look at a raise the same way again. You might be thinking, Switzerland is expensive. Swiss salaries are high. Of course they save more. That's the logical assumption. But the University of St. Gallen data controls for income level. The Swiss households in the lowest income bracket showed the same pattern as the wealthiest. The gap had nothing to do with how much they earned. It had everything to do with something they never do. And the answer is not a budgeting app. It's not a savings account. It's not discipline. It's a decision they made before the raise existed. In Swiss culture, there is a concept called Maßhalten, pronounced Maßhalten. It translates roughly as keeping measure. The deliberate practice of staying within what is sufficient, regardless of what becomes available. Maßhalten is not frugality. It is not deprivation. It is a cultural refusal to let external circumstances define your internal standard. When a Swiss household receives a raise, the money does not enter daily life. It enters a system. A predetermined allocation that was decided before the raise existed. Before the number was known, before the excitement arrived, the lifestyle never feels the raise. The account does. Behavioral economists call this pre-commitment architecture. You remove future decisions by making one decision now, before the emotional conditions that would corrupt it ever arrive. The Swiss didn't read the research. They built the behavior into their culture generations ago. That's the secret. Not the savings rate, not the account. The timing, they decide before they feel. Here's what most Americans do instead. A raise arrives. It's exciting. It feels like relief. And within 60 days, sometimes 30, the extra income has been quietly absorbed into the cost of living. A nicer apartment. A car payment that finally feels manageable. Dinners that used to feel like a treat that now feel like Tuesday. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The brain normalizes every upgrade almost immediately. The pleasure of the new baseline fades within weeks. But the cost remains. The raise feels gone because it is gone. This is not a personal failure. It is a design flaw in how most people relate to income growth. And the next raise? It will disappear the same way. You didn't spend the raise. The raise spent you. Here is why Maßhalten works, and why it works without willpower. First, the Swiss allocate before they feel. When income increases, the brain does something immediate. It begins imagining. New possibilities. Upgraded versions of familiar things. This is the window. The 24 to 72 hours after a raise is confirmed, when lifestyle inflation is most dangerous. Swiss financial culture closes that window before it opens. The allocation happens in advance. A standing rule, not a monthly decision, that determines exactly where every income increase goes before it arrives. The raise never reaches daily awareness as spendable money. What you never experience as available, you never miss. Second, Maßhalten requires no discipline, because it is an identity, not a habit. Willpower-based saving fails. The research is unambiguous. Decisions made under emotional conditions, the excitement of a raise, the relief of extra income, will almost always favor immediate reward. But Maßhalten is not a decision made in the moment. It is a cultural value held long before the moment arrives. Swiss children are taught Maßhalten before they receive their first allowance. The value is installed before income exists, by adulthood. The question of upgrading never competes with the value of restraint. The decision was made in childhood. The raise never had a chance. A Swiss person does not choose to resist lifestyle inflation when the raise arrives. They simply do not identify as someone who upgrades their life because their income grew. The question never enters the decision space. Rules require enforcement. Beliefs require nothing. Third, the gap compounds invisibly, and the longer it runs, the more irreversible the advantage becomes. Consider two people, same income, same raise. One upgrades their lifestyle by the full amount. One allocates it entirely to net worth. Year 1, the difference is invisible. One has a nicer apartment. One has a larger balance. Year 5, the gap begins to show. Year 10, it is no longer closable. The person who upgraded is still earning the same income, still living paycheck to paycheck at a higher altitude, still feeling like they need more. The person who practiced Maßhalten has built a financial reserve that generates its own momentum. They are not richer because they earned more. They are richer because they refuse to feel the raise. The gap has no name. It just grows. Here is how to apply this. Starting tonight. Step 1. Write down your current monthly lifestyle cost, not your income, your actual fixed cost of living. This number becomes your baseline. The ceiling Maßhalten protects. Do this tonight. On paper, it takes 4 minutes. Step 2. Create a standing transfer rule. Every income increase, raise, bonus, side income, gets allocated before it touches your checking account. Decide the percentage now. Before any raise exists, the rule is simple. 70% to net worth, 30% maximum to lifestyle, written down, non-negotiable. Step 3. Never renegotiate the rule during the excitement window. Swiss financial advisors call this the vulnerability window, the 72 hours after a raise arrives, when it feels most like permission. It is not permission. It is the test. Enforce the rule precisely because you decided it before you needed to. Step 4. Open one document. Write today's net worth number at the top. Date it every 90 days. Write the new number below it. Watch the column grow. This is the only scoreboard that matters. Everything else is noise. Most people feel a raise for 60 days. Then it's gone. The Swiss feel it for 40 years. Because it never left the vault. You stop feeling like someone always reaching for the next level. You start feeling like someone who decided, long ago, that enough is not a limit. It's an address. Tonight, write the number down. Not your income, your net worth. That's where the raise lives now. Maßhalten. Keep measure. Those who master it never feel poor, because they never felt rich in the wrong way.